Being able to spend more in retirement can be awesome. You go beyond just basic living expenses and start to invest more in the things that are most important to you. But not all spending is created equal. At times I see retirees spend on things that they later regret, which kind of hurts twice. You're out the money and the opportunity to spend on something more beneficial. In today's video, I want to talk through a set of questions that can help you avoid spending regret in retirement. In my opinion, way too much focus in financial planning is on the savings and accumulation side. You could go probably find thousands of videos on YouTube on how to grow your money faster, more efficiently, etc. But what about actually spending and utilizing that money? There's very little focus on this side of the equation, which often leads some retirees towards endless accumulation. The traits that make one a great saver and accumulator often aren't the same traits that make them a great spender. In fact, I would bet the label of being a great spender makes some watching this video even uncomfortable. Now, a popular style of video that I see related to the spending side is something like this. X number of purchases retirees often regret. And you'll find a list of things like nice cars, a boat, a dream home or second home. And the thing I don't love about these videos is there's often a lot of preference inserted in these videos. With just about any purchase you can think of, I've met retirees that greatly regret the purchase and some that say it's some of the best money they've ever spent. Everyone has different preferences and different circumstances. Someone who, let's say, buys a boat but doesn't live close to water and so therefore has to stow their boat and drive an hour every time they want to use it is far more likely to regret that purchase than someone who, let's say, has a home on a lake. It's not the boat that's the issue. And so instead of telling you what other people regret or enjoy, I want to focus on a framework that you can use to analyze whether a purchase is right for you. The one thing I will say on a broad basis, based on a lot of spending and happiness research that I've reviewed, it really appears that the best ROI you can gain from spending is spending on areas that create great and lasting memories. Memories seem to have a residual benefit. Studies show that thinking back to a great memory gives you a similar positive feeling as what you gain from the experience in the first place. It's almost like memories provide a lasting dividend that keeps on giving years after the event. Often it's concluded then that people gain more from experiences rather than things. I think this is a bit of a narrow view of the findings. There are certainly things that can be a great catalyst to creating positive memories. Say you buy a cottage, which is a thing, but that cottage is a place where your family congregates throughout the summer, thus enabling more family time, which leads to more great memories. Well, that thing created experiences which created that ongoing memory dividend. So I don't think we should really label things as suboptimal ways to spend. It all depends. However, question one that we need to explore anytime we are considering a big purchase is what is the phantom cost of that purchase? A phantom cost is a cost that isn't immediately considered or observable from the outside looking in. However, these phantom costs become very apparent once that purchase is made. Let's consider a vacation home. It's easy to just look at the asking price of that property and assess that this is more or less the cost of the property. However, this is just the preliminary cost. Here are some additional phantom costs. Upkeep, maintenance, and insurance. What happens when there is a big storm and weather damages your property and creates problems that really can't wait? You have to effectively drop everything and deal with those problems immediately. Depending on the property, there may be other purchases or improvements that you want to make to help get more out of the property, like let's say an outdoor living area that also contains or carries costs. How far away is this property? Too far away? And now there are travel costs. The further away you live, the more friction travel creates, which can lead to underutilization, which can lead to guilt from pouring money into a property that you don't feel you are actually using enough. 2 properties means 2 of everything. 2 lawnmowers, 2 sets of furniture, 2 sets of kitchenware. More stuff means more things to manage, repair, and effectively deal with. Owning a vacation home where you host people often means you bear the responsibility of hosting and making sure everyone is happy and taken care of. All of these phantom costs add up over time and can really degrade the initial happiness you thought you were going to get from that purchase. Let's discuss phantom costs of an entirely different purchase or expenditure, like giving money to your children. Let's say you are giving money to your kids to help with a down payment in the current housing environment. A great cause on the surface, no doubt. But let's consider a few phantom costs. First, once you give a gift, you really give up control over that gift. You may give your kid $10,000 that you hope they invest for their retirement. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Are you comfortable if they decide to do something else with it? Or what if they invest in crypto when you were expecting them to invest in a diversified index fund? Or what if helping out your kids sets back their personal growth? Thinking back to your life, I bet you can draw a straight line from adversity that you dealt with to growth and strength that you gained from that adversity. By taking away the adversity your children would deal with, are you actually costing your kids much more? All of these phantom costs are worth considering. Question number 2, what are the alternatives that I didn't readily consider on the front end? I'm just going to keep with the example of a second home here because it's fairly easy from an alternative standpoint. What are you trying to gain from this second home? You might look at your current situation and envision a vacation home as a big life improvement. But there are multiple options you have on a spectrum. You might look at another property and find that you can get 90% of the value or benefits you are trying to gain, but maybe you can spend 30% less. Well, that's probably a worthy trade-off. Or maybe you are considering retiring early in your 50s. You compare working full-time to complete retirement, and there's a big life improvement from that comparison. Well, what about adding in another middle option of part-time work? Is that middle of the road option checking all the boxes but doesn't require the same financial load? Back to the second home example, are you going to live in it half the year or just maybe have it be a place you go to a few times in the summer or winter? If this is just a few times a year property, consider renting as an alternative. With renting, you can vary the places that you stay each year, infusing some fun and novelty in your vacations. When you run the math, I'd almost guarantee renting is more cost effective if you're just staying at a place a few times. If it's a family-oriented property, you could also look at things like fractional ownership. All of these alternatives may be just as compelling, and when weighing all the factors, can sometimes even make more sense. When we look at our favorite hobbies, there's often a spectrum of options that we have in our purchasing decisions. On one side of the spectrum, you have a bargain buy, which is typically an option that, let's say, gets the job done, but will probably be something where you're giving up quality and longevity. Then on the other side of the spectrum, you have the top of the line options. The cost here is often 10 times or even more than the cheapest option. Top of the line in any category is typically great, but has a phantom and psychological cost of wanting to avoid all wear and tear because of that item being so nice. Typically the best value is found in the middle of the road or just above the middle of the road options in my experience. You get the quality and most of the benefits of the top of the line, but can often spend multiples less. Then the final question is asking yourself and visualizing what can go poorly with this purchase. I find so many people when they are thinking about a purchase, they get into this dream setting mode and only think about the upsides. Won't it be so great when all of these dreams are realized? They often create a mostly imaginary world and then sell themselves on that purchase. In Stoicism, there is a practice called negative visualization, and I'd urge you to practice it in considering spending. Think about what could go wrong or how this purchase could fall short of your dreams. Say you are wanting to buy an RV and travel around the country. Consider the annoyances of not having an easy place to wash your clothes weekly. Consider how comforts like high-speed internet are not readily available. Consider how each night you need to find a place to park your home on wheels, or think about the decision fatigue you will have with each day needing to figure out what exactly you're going to do or see. My goal is not to try to convince you to never spend, but we should have a more realistic view of what a purchase will actually mean for our life. This negative visualization technique also helps set expectations. In any endeavor, the higher your expectations, the more likely you are to find unhappiness in that endeavor. This is often referred to as expectation debt. Happiness or excitement is often only achieved after an experience exceeds expectations. So if you are constantly dream setting, your expectations are going to be sky high, and you are very likely to be disappointed with the reality of that purchase. Now, I want you to visualize how great this purchase can be. That is no doubt part of the fun of spending, but also make sure you are visualizing all of the negatives here as well. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it can directly add happiness to your retirement. If you are looking for ways that your retirement can directly allow you to spend more and gain more from your hobbies, allow you to spend a little bit more on yourself, here's a video right here where I talk about 4 strategies that can help maximize your spending. Thanks for watching, and always remember, you don't need more money, you need a better plan. We'll see you in the next video.